going into this game. You had it last week against Detroit. With the playoffs approaching, what are you looking for this week?
Yeah, same approach. There's one way to play. There's one way to prepare to play as best we can play. And our team did a good job leading up to the Detroit game, preparing the right way. And the game wasn't perfect. There were a lot of good things, though. And I do think over the course of it, we played the right way and we're able to win that ball game. And the approach is no different this week. Preparation's been outstanding. Excited about this challenge.
You know, you're looking back at the Monday night win over the Lions, 42-21 the final score, and it was a game that when the defense, in the middle of the second quarter, started taking command of that game, you had it in all three phases of the game, the final 2.5 quarters of that game.
Yeah, the start of the game was not real good for our defense. They scored 3 touchdowns on their first 3 drives, but after that they had 8 possessions and they didn't score any points. And we took the ball away. Sack, fumble, an interception, and really limited their opportunities as that game wore on. From an offensive standpoint, we scored 6 touchdowns in 10 possessions, so that certainly is a good night. We mixed the run and the pass. We made explosive plays in the passing game. I think as much as anything else, cleaning up some of those penalties early on in the ball game allowed us to really get into our rhythm, and we played well.
You have to be excited what you're seeing out of Dez Bryant right now. Of course, in that game, he not only had a touchdown pass, but 2 touchdown receptions as well. There's only one other player in the Super Bowl era to have 2 touchdown catches and throw for a touchdown. That was David Patton from 15 years ago, New England Patriots. How about that for some research?
That's good research. Dez had a good night, and a couple of times we went to him outside by himself. He just simply cashed in on it. Not only the touchdowns, but he had a long defensive pass interference penalty that gave us a great field position down in the red zone, and then the throw that he made on the Lufkin special was outstanding.
How long has that been in the makings? Because anyone who's been out to the stadium for pregame warm-ups prior to the game, you see Dez out there, and that left-handed he can throw it 50 or 60 yards, it looks like, in pregame warm-ups. Has he been lobbying for it? How has it all evolved?
Well, he can easily throw it 50 or 60 yards. He's a pretty talented guy, as we all know, and he's got great hands, and he also has a talented throwing arm. But the throw he made the other night in the game was a big-time throw. And he put some touch on it. I think it felt good coming out of his hand because I'm not so sure he ever even saw Witten catch the ball. And it's one of those deals that you marinate that play for a few weeks. We've probably been working on it 5, 6, 7 weeks now, and it's gotten better and better and better. And Scott did a great job calling at the right time.
Ezekiel Elliott, of course, he's having a banner season. There is a rookie rushing record out there. But how do you approach this game knowing that you need a fully healthy Ezekiel Elliott going into the playoffs?
Well, again, it starts with preparation. And, Zeke prepared well this week. And, anything we do, we want to do it at a high level. There's one way to play. So we've never been in pursuit of any records, passing records, rushing records, any records like that. The biggest thing is try to go out and do your job for your football team. Zeke's done a great job of that all year long. All
right, we're just getting started here on the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, we're joined by David Moore, the Dallas Morning News.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Ford is the best in Texas. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. University of North Texas, established 1890, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Reliant. Reliant keeps you powered at home, at work, and on the go.
Hey, I'm Dak Prescott. Happy holidays from the Dallas Cowboys.
This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Happy holidays from the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com, inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star. Happy New Year, David.
You too.
It is a happy New Year,
isn't it? It is, yes. For this team, compared to where it was last year, a little bit different feel going into the new year.
And how about for Jason Garrett in his 50th year? It's been a pretty good year. I didn't say that in front of Jason.
Not 50th year of coaching, 50th year.
50th year, that's right. All right, how do you handle this game in Philly as far as Dak is concerned, as far as Zeke is concerned?
I'm glad you asked me because, Jason gave me a call. Jason asked me about this, and Jerry, went to his office the other day. We had a little bit of talk about it, and we're still working through some things, but
taking it day by day.
It's a process, Bill.
Yeah.
It's a process. Apparently I'm in the minority on this. I know everyone's throwing up their hands, and in my mind, operating out of fear. How can you play any guy that matters? What if he gets hurt? You can't do yourself to that going into the postseason. I just don't get it. I mean, you're responsible with how you proceed with guys. If certain guys are banged up, you don't play them, like a Tyron Crawford or Terrell McClain. It makes sense. You know, DeMarcus, your entire defensive line, basically. I get that. And I'm not saying if the game in the second half evolves or degenerates to a point where the winner, the outcome is determined, you don't protect your key guys. That's just common sense. But I don't see how you go into a game and say, you know what, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, everything we've told you all season, the energy you've infused this team with, the special quality, the chemistry we have, just take a knee on this season. Don't finish it out. Don't worry about it. We'll pick up again in the postseason. To me, that is illogical. And look, this team is playing. No team in franchise history has ever gone 14-2. This team can go 14-2. Are you trying to say from a historical standpoint that doesn't mean anything? Are you trying to tell me that people don't feel better about this team seeing what they did against Detroit in a game that was essential for Detroit but didn't matter to Dallas? You don't think that instilled more confidence in the Cowboys, what they did against Detroit on that Monday night game, than if they would have gone out there and said, hey, let's protect some of these guys. We don't need to push it. So I just don't get it. I think you play guys as long as it makes sense. If the game is determined, the outcome's determined at some point, then you say, okay, let's work someone in behind Dak, work someone in behind Zeke. But I just don't think it's a free pass. I really don't.
And I think you can look back at the other two times they had 13 wins in a season, in 2007 and in 1992. In 1992, Emmitt Smith ran for 130 yards. Aikman played basically the first half of that game, Burline the second half. In 2007, it was a horrible display at Washington. And Jerry Jones actually alluded to that game in his post-game comments after the Monday night win over the Lions. So I think that they take the 1992 approach, which worked out pretty well for this team as they won the Super Bowl 27 that year.
Yeah, and don't minimize what happened in 2007 as far as the thinking in here on how you approach this final game. They saw it didn't work out that way. And I just think there are more positives to approach it. If you say it doesn't mean anything, it didn't mean anything to Philadelphia either. Why would they play any of their starters? They have nothing to gain in the standings.
All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. Once again, Happy New Year to you. And the Jason Garrett Show continues in a moment with the leading sack artist on this 2016 Cowboys team.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Oh, I think he's played very well, very well. He's got some real suddenness to him as a rusher, which I like. But I'm telling you, he plays the run very well. He's gotten better and better in that area, and but he's been a kind of an impact player for us.
It's the Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles, a noon kickoff on New Year's Day. I'm Bill Jones, and welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios, it's time to go down the Nike Star Walk into the Ford Center here at the Star and check in with Mickey Spagnola, who has a special guest who is really emerging this season.
Thanks, Bill. I am with Cowboys defensive end Benson Mayowa. I should say Cowboys leading sacker Benson Mayowa. Have 6 sacks now. Yes, you've been on fire here for these last month or so. What changed? What got into you?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Just playing ball, playing harder.
And I don't know if it took maybe some time to get used to a new defensive scheme, or what
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just just getting better each week. I feel like I sat out a few weeks. I had time to watch, but that's not an excuse. I think just every week is just building myself up. Getting on the scout team, doing little reps there, getting back on defense, doing reps there, and just building my skills.
And that was the reason the Cowboys brought you in. They thought you were a guy that had the potential to improve, get better, and become a big-time pass rusher. And maybe it just took a little bit of time, though, to kind of.
I mean, this is the end of the season. You have to, this is where you got to dial it up, I feel like. So, I've just been trying to dial it up, help my team, help my guys on the D-line, and just give it all I got.
What has it meant to you to be on a team that's been so successful? You'd been through a couple tough years, I know, earlier in your career, and now you're on a team that sitting here going, oh, we're playing the last game. It really doesn't mean anything in the standings, and we got the #1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. It starts, in the offseason OTAs. This all we talked about. So, to to do all that and get to this point right here is just amazing. You know?
So playing this last game, how do you guys stay focused to play a game where win, lose, it really doesn't make a tangible difference on your standings in the league?
I mean, we still want to win. You know, 14-2 is better than 13-3. So I feel like we still want to do that. We still want to go hard. We still want to, you know, get sacks, make TFLs. You know, all that
put
still
up some
counts.
numbers.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all that still counts. I'm not saying it's a numbers game because every week is hard. But, you know, we still want to give it all we got.
Now, have they explained to you guys that 14 wins, no other Cowboy team has ever done that before?
Oh, really?
In a single season?
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
all the teams that won Super Bowls or went
that.
to Super Bowls, 14's the most.
I mean, I didn't know
13 was the most. You tied it.
Okay.
Twice, only twice before, too. So that's got to be a little nugget that you guys could say, hey, I did this.
That's a good stat right there. I might go tell the guys.
Go tell your guys that, get them pumped up for the game. And you guys seem to be a pretty tight group defensively.
Definitely. Yeah, we're tight. I mean, this has been one of the tightest teams I've been on 3 teams, my 3rd one, and I feel like just all of us, not just the defense, but the offense also, like we all, you know, gel with each other.
How do you think that happened?
The grind. You know, this is tough. You know, I feel like this is the toughest, you know, team I've ever had to practice on. You know, just going hard, and you know, everybody sees you going hard. They respect you. We respect each other, and that, you know, respect comes with just like getting tight with each other, kind of. So I feel like we just tight with each other just off that.
And you got a lot of people paying attention too. Now I know Oakland, they have a lot of fans and little national recognition, but you found out when you play for the Cowboys, it's every time, right?
Yeah.
Especially all those national TV games.
Yeah. I found out the other way on Twitter or something like that. Like that, everybody looks at my Twitter. So so you know, it's kind of crazy. You know, it's very like national. Everything you do, tweet, Instagram, everybody's going to see what you tweet out. So.
All right, well, we'll be watching Sunday afternoon to see if that sack total expands a little for you.
Hopefully.
Okay, good. Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
All right, Bill, Cowboys defensive end, Benson Mayo.
All right, thanks, Mickey. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, the coach rejoins me, and we talk about these Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz.
Happy holidays from our family to yours.
We're trying to stay sharp. We're trying to have a sharp edge every week so we can go into these playoffs like a high-octane machine. You know, we're not taking weeks off. We're not looking at them as games that aren't meaningful. Every game we play is meaningful.
Definitely that one in Dallas, you know, NFC East rival. The point of the year we were in there kind of was a turning point, roughly. So that one was tough, especially being down there, having a chance to win on the road. That's hard to do in this league. That one was tough.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Happy New Year to all of you out there. We're inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star. Bill Jones with the head coach. Cowboys and the Eagles, and Carson Wentz, the rookie quarterback from Philadelphia. Of course, you got very familiar with him almost a year ago now, Senior Bowl practices. What was it that struck you about Carson Wentz getting to work with him that week?
Well, just very impressive, really, in all ways. Physically, he's very impressive. He's big, he's fast, he's athletic. He's got a very good arm, so that stuff jumps out at you. But, you know, the chance to be around him for a few days, you're certainly